Hello, this is Nina Morrocco from Raphaela Soul Sessions. Thank you for tuning in today to Soul Sessions with Nina. This is exciting to be here with you all. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I am here today to talk a little about the higher self. Now, if you aren't sure who I am or what I do, I'm a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner from Scotland, and I adore the work I do, and I love sharing the information that comes through this work with the collective. It is a big part of the work is for me personally to share these amazing sessions and messages, and specifically messages for humanity during these times of enormous expansion and shift, and just our ultimate involvement in consciousness. And today I want to share with you, first of all, I'm going to go into what my version of the higher self is, because it's a word that's used a lot in, spiritual or awakening communities. But sometimes, we overlook what these things really are. So because I work so closely with the higher self and my clients' higher selves, I work to connect people with their higher self. I get to spend a lot of time amongst this awareness and these energies. So I want to share with you first my explanation of what the higher self is. And the simplest explanation of the higher self is you. Your higher self is you, basically. It is the highest vibrational aspect of yourself that can be embodied into physical form. It is you beyond all trauma or heartache, conditioning, pain, suffering, programming. It is beyond all self-doubt, beyond what you were taught to believe or even disbelieve about yourself, your life, and life itself. So your higher self is like a record of all of your experiences within this lifetime and far, far beyond this lifetime. All of your experiences as a multidimensional being. It knows all of your wounds, all of your traumas and your gifts. It is your own divine and eternal spirit. It knows all about you, even the parts that you shy away from and the parts that maybe need some more of your acknowledgement. So when you begin to connect with and embody your higher self, which can also be called your intuition, you can absolutely begin to see the full extent of your divinity and your true power. This is where we begin to release all of our doubts and limitations, and we can feel the endless strength, power, sovereignty, and wisdom of our souls. So as I say, the higher self is you beyond your current perception, self-perception. Your higher self is a lifeline to your purest truth and to higher states of consciousness. This is why developing a strong connection with and identifying with the higher self is key to navigating this particular lifetime and the lifetime that we find ourselves in right now, the situation we're currently in. Your higher self can give you access to your own self-compassion and your own innate wisdom, your own ability to heal yourself on all levels. It can show you the truth of all things from deep within. It's where all of your answers and all of your healing and all of your solutions lie. Your higher self won't always wave a magic wand over your life, but it can offer you the tools and keys to access all that you need for your ultimate purpose and highest timeline of living. When you let this most sacred part of yourself guide you, you ignite a profound alignment. You welcome in your own magic back into your life. This aspect of ourselves shares information with us in a variety of subtle, beautiful, magnificent, and sometimes miraculous ways. It can come through images and sensations, emotions, deep knowing and feeling. So we now know that with these methods, such as beyond quantum healing, illuminated quantum healing, and indeed quantum healing hypnosis therapy, QHHT, created by Dolores Cannon, can easily access the higher self. So this is achieved when we're in a relaxed and focused state of awareness. We're in fact always in these different states of awareness, these different brainwave states, and we're always connected to our higher selves, except we live in a world that does not nurture or encourage that connection. This is precisely why I do what I do, so that people can learn how to access and embody this part of themselves, so that they can cultivate their own ability to heal themselves. This is true self-healing, true self-empowerment. And I think this is what this show is all about. It is both a joy, a deep honor, and a privilege to connect people with their higher selves. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you so you can get an idea of why I do what I do. I had a session for myself back in October of 2020. It was a really, really profound session. You know, it's one of the really wonderful things about being a practitioner as well, is we are on our own healing journeys ourselves. My daughter coming into this world really was my initiation into doing this work, because having the experiences I had with my child coming into the world essentially just pushed me onto the path of healing and self-healing. And this is how I found this work. And through having these sessions myself, I have managed to gain such a deep and powerful connection with my own higher self. And having these sessions for ourselves is such a wonderful way to keep ourselves on track as quantum healers, as people who do these sessions for others. You know, we are always working on ourselves as well. It's a really important part of the work. So I had this session a little while ago, but as I said, back in 2020 in October. And there was a really, really amazing message that came through at the very end of that session for humanity. And I really love the words and the way the higher self expresses themselves. It's beyond how we would express ourselves. So here's the message that came through my own higher self. Earth is a very special place. It's a place where creation wanted to experience itself with complete and utter denial of itself. So here we have Earth and humankind as it is. It needed to go to the furthest away part of the darkest cave so that it could reemerge back into itself. It is like a breath. Humanity right now is at the very end of the tip of the out-breath of the. We are at the moment of halt, just before we breathe in the divine once again. And once we do, it is so beautiful. We get to breathe everything in all over again. We're teetering on the edge. We are the breath of creation. We are the breath of the cosmos. Humanity is about to breathe in again. It's about to breathe itself in all over again. To then recreate more and more of itself, but even more beautiful and expansive than ever before. We had to have this really long, really difficult out-breath for us to get to this present moment. So yeah, something I really love about the energy that comes through when we're interacting with the higher self. There's something very profound about the higher self's use of words and language and the way it expresses itself. And this is why I share these messages with the world. I share them all on my social media platforms, and my clients are so wonderful that they allow me to share these messages for humanity, because they come through with a very, very powerful energy. And it's my hope that that energy comes through these words when they're spoken. So I have another message that I really want to share. This is from a session that I did with a lovely client of mine, an ongoing client. I think this was her first session that she did back in January of 2021. And this was a conversation I was having with her higher self. And I remember when I shared this, it just felt so on point with what was happening. So this was like a year ago now. This is over a year ago. So I'll just read it to you, the conversation that I had with this higher self. So the higher self said, be with this time. Be with this difficult time. Know that it won't last. Keep reminding yourself that this is not forever. Things will change in the very near future. The second part of this year and next year will be very different. The light has started to expand, but it will ramp up. And by the end of this year, into next year, you will be dancing because of the light. How all of that unfolds is up to all of you. But you will burst forward in this light, and it cannot be stopped. You have done it. You have pushed past the point where the seed will burst and grow. You have done it. I asked, well, no, I said, that sounds like something worth celebrating. And the higher self said, we know it doesn't feel like it. This is probably the hardest time for many of you. But if you look at it like the seed will burst, and it doesn't even know it yet. That anxiety you feel inside, it is the seed getting ready, and it will burst. Just like a caterpillar doesn't know that it will turn into a butterfly. It just feels this incredible energy building, this anxiety and this urge from within. So it has to do something. You will all look back and you will forget the pain, because all you will see is a beautiful flower. But you just can't see it all yet inside the seed. But it is there. I asked, will we create the new earth in the years to come? The higher self said, yes. This light that's coming in, this is the beginning of it. The seedling I speak of, it needs all the care and nourishment and light so it won't perish, which it won't, but it needs tending to. This is why 2021 is such an important year. The foundations for New Earth are what begins in that year. I asked what New Earth will be like. And the higher self said, it is infinite potential. It is infinite light from which to create from. The new earth will be what you desire to create. But it will be light and it will be joy. That mirror of darkness will no longer reflect itself back to you. Just infinite potential and joy. What is happening in your rainbow bodies as we speak is you're becoming your own fractals of light. You're all becoming your own rainbows. The spheres of light around you are like mandalas. Each person's mandala is unique and every color imaginable. You are all a kaleidoscope of light. And when you look down upon the earth, you will be able to see a kaleidoscope of kaleidoscopes. That will be New Earth. So yeah, I thought this was a really important time to share that particular message. It was a powerful message. I really felt it, when I do these sessions for people and they're in hypnosis and their higher selves come through in this way. The way they speak and their mannerisms and everything, it all transforms into this energy that's coming through them, this aspect of themselves. And sometimes the messages can just be incredibly powerful, like I say, in the way that it's expressed. And we know that we're dealing with a higher aspect of ourselves when this energy comes through the words. So I wanted to share with you another message that came through quite recently, actually, November 2021. It was a beautiful session. They're all beautiful in their own way, but this one was, it was powerful. So I asked the higher self, I said, it's a particularly intense time for many souls here on earth right now. I asked, what's the guidance that you have for humanity? And the higher self said, please bear in mind that from your perspective, change will not look like a flash, a pop, or a bang. Nor will a new earth happen overnight. The new energy arrives in a slow and gentle movement. You're going to see things happening. You're going to feel it happen more and more. Certain people will be exposed. Certain people will be arrested. Some will suddenly disappear. Political moves will start to happen too. This will all start to become visible. But what you cannot see is the movement that is slowly creeping up, which will make all that is visible happen. So you see, it's difficult to track the progress from your position. But once this has all played out, you will be able to see the steps that have happened. We do not fight a war with a flag and flag up our every position. You have all got this, and you all know. The problem lies where you cannot see or trust because you cannot see the steps that are coming and happening. So you must go within. All of the answers are inside of you. You all know this already. You all have the blueprint. You all know exactly what's going on, even the ones who pretend not to. You all know. The answers are not found externally. And it is not for the purposes of fear or bamboozlement. The answers are not found within the fear and the bamboozlement. But inside of you is where you know what path you are truly on. Realistically, you would not be where you are now had you not followed your path or your guidance. Your guides do not force it upon you. They simply guide you to where your soul has intended you to go. There will be moments of doubt and worry where you don't believe what you're seeing or indeed what you're not seeing. But ultimately, you know. Those who have not taken the route with the, in quotations, medicine that is on offer, have done so because of what is inside of them. Something inside of them has told them not to. It is indeed a time of great difficulty for many. And there's no easy path. We don't send foot soldiers to do the work of generals. We send great lights instead. There is no other option than to keep going. From where we stand, all has already been dealt with. It just has to play out. There will be twists and turns and diversions, delays, distractions. However, all will lead to one glorious timeline There will be more threats, more locking downs, more division. But you will all grow tired of the noise and you will begin to disengage. And that's the process of how you get out of all of this. The only one who can take your freedom is the one you allow to take your freedom. And no one can give up your freedom but you. So I thought that was quite an important message, especially for right now, because when I'm reading that back, what the higher self said there, and I'm thinking about what has unfolded even just since November. We're just at the start of February now. And to see the movement, and as the higher self described, the gentle movement. And to where we are now, with everything that's happening now, it's so beautiful. I can absolutely see exactly what the higher self was sharing with us there. That, you know, it doesn't all just happen overnight. It's a slow and gentle process that evolves over time. And that sense of just, a lot of us are just beginning to disengage. You know, we're done. We're done with the lies. We're done with that which we can see through completely. You know? We're done. And that's the beautiful thing. It's just that power really lies with us. And I have another message as well. Well, I've got a few more messages actually. I thought this would be a nice way to introduce my first show and show you a little bit of the energies I work in. And I know for me, just even reading these messages aloud, there's a beautiful energy that comes through. And I hope whoever is listening to this receives that energy too, because it's powerful and profound. And yeah. So this message was from a starseed, and from the starseed's higher self. This was from September 2021, from her quantum healing session. So the question that my client had for her higher self was that she wanted to know her role in the new earth ascension. And I really felt that this answer pertains to so many more of us than the client. So I just want to add, I'm so grateful to all of my clients for allowing me to share these messages, because I don't think they realize how beneficial it is for people to hear these messages. So just another thank you to all of my clients who have allowed me to share these messages publicly. It's a gift. It's a gift. So the higher self said, the role is to be a light. Don't hide it. Connect with other lights. Many of you feel alone in all of this. So let each other know. None of you are alone. Share your energy. Share your gifts. Amplify. Teach. Learn. Grow together. And simply know that your presence alone is always enough. No one asks the sun why it shines. and brings growth and life. It does it regardless. So be a light. And the next question was, how can we collectively raise our consciousness and anchor in these positive energy portholes? That was potentials that was supposed to be, but obviously portholes was what was supposed to come through there as well. There's always a reason why we make a mistake with our language, and I quite love that portholes came through there too, because it is, we are creating portholes all the time. So anyway, positive energy potentials. The higher self said, by loving ourselves first, by loving others, sending love to the earth, and doing actions out of love, being compassionate towards each other, and using our specific gifts to assist each other. Don't judge anyone when they're down. Offer them your hand and help them up. And equally, don't allow anyone to drag you down. Stand strong in your knowing and lift each other up. So I then asked, are there any events in the coming weeks, months, that we should be aware of or prepare for? Bearing in mind, this was September 2021. There's going to be a lot of releasing of negative energies. Please ground yourselves and hold compassionate space for those that go through their metamorphosis process. Sensitive people are really going to need to ground in the new energies coming through. This is why many feel pressure build up in their heads and crown and third eye energy areas. This energy needs to be grounded, or it will build up and cause discomfort. So move your bodies, release any pressure build up, and allow that energetic to flow. Be creative, dance, sing, be silly, and trust in the vision that we know you all have. Have patience. Your civilizations have populated Earth for a long time. It's okay that you haven't worked it all out yet. Because the truth is that the ending is already written. This is just one chapter of the story that has a very, very happy ending. The waters are only murky because of dishonesty. But if you're all honest with yourselves and each other, then the waters can become clear. Crocodiles cannot hide in clear waters. So do things that cultivate joy and remove yourselves from disharmony. Honor your true selves. Find joy in the synchronicities. You call them synchronicities. We call them the unfoldment of your divine plan. I love that at the end about the synchronicities and how beautiful that is, that there's, nudges that you're on the right path. And I love the way they described crocodiles not hiding in clear waters. It gives you an idea of the creativity of the use of language that comes through when we're speaking with the higher self. It is such a beautifully creative thing. And, just talking about synchronicities as well, there are so many synchronicities that happen through these sessions and through this work. It's very, very powerful. The experiences that can be had, before, during, and even after the sessions, that are just confirmations of everything that's just been experienced. I mean, it's hard to put into words what myself as a practitioner experiences, and indeed what my clients experience. And just the unfoldment that takes place when we begin to dance with those synchronicities and we begin to really embrace them, because it is like a dance, and that kind of ignites our magic. I've always believed that we're all magic. It's just that we live in the world that tells us we're not. So, I have another one here that is from my own session from just a few days ago. This was Friday, the 28th of January, 2022. That was a really cool session. I hadn't had a session for quite a while. I don't have them very often. So it's really interesting to see where I would go. And I actually went into a ship. And when I have these sessions for myself, it's not like I have a big visual movie playing out in front of me. That's not really how it comes through me. I'll maybe get the outline of something to show me what they're representing, what they're showing me. And then it's just really connecting with that intuition and just knowing that this is what's coming through and this is where they're guiding me to. So it really is flexing that intuitive muscle. So yeah, I went into a spaceship, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I've been here before. And I've been into that particular ship, into that particular place in many different experiences, not just in quantum healing sessions. I had once had a bilocation experience where I was just meditating in my room on my bed. But I went into this state where I knew I was in two places at once. I could feel myself in my body on my bed, and I could also feel myself inside a chamber type structure, a pod type structure. And I was there. I was just in both places at once, and that's all I could describe it to anyone as. And when I did describe it to someone, they were like, okay, you're bilocated. I was like, oh, is that what that is? So, and I have been there a couple other times. I think during a Reiki session, I went there as well. And what's really beautiful about having these kind of experiences is that it happens in my client sessions as well. So if I, have one of these types of experiences, somewhere down the line, I'll have a client that goes and has that experience too. And that just confirms what I've experienced. So there's been a few of these different sessions with clients from all over the world where they've talked about being in these energetic pods, these pods in these ships. Yeah, and it showed me what they looked like, what they were doing. It was my light body that was in the pod. It was my light body that was being worked on, activated, and it was being activated and healed by a crystal that was the main. It was they called it the mother crystal, the heart crystal, and that powered the ship, and it powered everything on the ship, and it also powered the pods. And the pods were made of like a quartz type crystal. And the energy from the main mother heart crystal would come through the tubes that would come down into the quartz pod. And they told me it was like a filter effect. So the energy from the crystal would kind of filter down in through into the pod and through my light body. And they were saying that they're doing this for a lot of humans now. And it was kind of like med bed type energy. And they said the reason that they're doing this, because they don't usually intervene, is because the human collective consciousness, the human collective spirit, has raised in vibration enough for us to have collectively asked for assistance. So they do it in this way because it's a kind of indirect enhancement of our light bodies. So this is the experience I had. I'm going to share a little bit of this session, I think, publicly. I'll maybe put it on my YouTube channel or something so people can listen. But it's so interesting when information like that comes through and you're having the experience as well. And it's giving you the experience in so much detail about things that you're not really aware of, you've never really talked about before. So everything that's coming through you is like new. It's for the first time. So yeah, that was a little bit from that session, but there was also a message that came through for humanity right at the end of the session. So this is what my higher self had to share. So this is message for the Earth Collective. So this is a higher self. There is a layer of peace beginning to expand across the globe, because a lot of you know that you've got this. And all that really needs to be done now is allowing for Earth and humanity's natural unfoldment and alignment. So many of you have been longing, waiting, and indeed starved of a glimmer of light or some kind of confirmation that yes, this is happening. And many of you can now see that yes, there is light. You are that light. Knowing that ultimately the power is really held within the human collective. I also wanted to ask my higher self during this, what was not being talked about amongst the collective? What was humanity not talking about? What were we not seeing or discussing? And the higher self said, what's not being talked about amongst the collective right now is how wonderful it all is and how wonderful all of you are. Of course, there is ickiness and darkness that needs to come up and roll itself out and be seen so that you, humanity, can choose to release it. But see how much creativity, joy, love, humor, intelligence weaved into the process. That should not only be acknowledged, but it should be celebrated. The power and glory of the human spirit, and two, the power of your Mother Earth, the rising and balancing of the masculine and feminine. Gaia has said no, and that energy is coming up through and is being expressed through all of you in various ways and levels of awareness. That energy needs to continue to be cultivated and nurtured and taught to the next generation. The energy felt within the human body
when you see examples of humanity standing up and awakening, trust it. Lean into it. Trust the energy you feel in your body. The dark energies are not going to bow out gracefully. They have plans that they wish to implement as quickly as possible. They, however, do not hold the power that all of you hold. For you have hearts, as does the earth. And just as Gaia is a divine galactic being, as are all of you. And that cannot be taken from you. Yes, more turbulence is ahead. But ultimately, it will only feed that divine sacred power that you hold within. Each event will continue to strengthen and fuel your light. The inevitable shift in consciousness is happening. That's how all of this is designed. So, yeah, that was so interesting that came through on Friday, the 28th. Of course, that was amongst everything that had been going on with the convoy that's happening in Canada and now all over the world, as we see. But that was on the Friday, and the next day was the Saturday when they all arrived in Ottawa, Canada, and to see how that weekend unfolded and how the energy just amplified, and that power and sovereignty and truth and the kindness and love within humanity. I'm getting chills in my body right now, just as I'm speaking. It was just so beautiful to see how, what was being said in that message, seeing it unfold in real time. Straight after that session was just so beautiful and quite emotional as well. Quite emotional to see that happening. So yeah. The other thing I wanted to share was actually from one of my favorite sessions that I've ever facilitated. I mean, they're all amazing, but there was one in particular that happened of September 2020. And this was a beautiful client of mine. I adore her. This was her second session with me. Clients can have as many sessions as they want. We went to a ship, a galactic ship, and spoke to some very, very beautiful high vibrational light beings. And I got to basically interview this being on this ship that was currently orbiting Earth. And he had some incredible information for starseeds, light workers, about what was happening and what was going to be happening and how to navigate this this time from their perspective, how to navigate it. So I got to speak with this being on a ship currently orbiting the Earth for about an hour. I got to interview him and ask him all sorts of questions. His energy was amazing. The information that came through was so profound and powerful. I may share that interview on another show that I do here for you guys, so you can hear what was said, because it was just so profound and powerful. It's on my YouTube channel. If you find Raphaela Soul Sessions on YouTube, you can actually go and listen to that. I think it's called We Are in Command. yeah, it was a very, very powerful session. And right at the end of that session, I remember we just finished the interview with this light being, and suddenly this energy came through, and the way they were speaking was very beautiful, very grand, very divine, kind of amazing things that it was saying. And I'll read you the what was said. And so this is called, I call it Divine Seed. And the energy said, you will be a true light for so many people. You already are. Anchor that in your body, in your human mind. You chose to come here to this moment of awakening. You are so loved. And I could feel that sort of shift in energy. So I asked, who is that? Who's speaking? And the energy said, yes. I said, I'd asked, may I ask who's speaking? And the energy said, yes. And then there was a pause. And after a short pause, the voice became sort of very deep and just said, Yeshua ben Joseph. And then he said, you are so loved. And I said, thank you for coming through for us today. Thank you for being with us. And we honor you, love you, and appreciate your presence. Do you have any other messages for us today? And he said, remember, you are never alone. You're never alone. Every part of you, even all that you call flaws, you are so loved. You are so loved. And he went on. The process of becoming the divine in flesh is recognizing the love within. That you are a process of love. You are a mirror of love. You are a reflection of God. God is himself, herself. You are a divine seed. Walk on this earth owning that truth. That is the real process of ascension. I said, thank you. That is a really beautiful and profound message. And I asked if there was any other messages that they had for us today. And the energy said, oh, you are so lovely. You are so loved. You are light. It is good that you have internet communication for light workers all over the world. You are giving them comfort and reassurance. There is a light team behind you. Always. You know this. You are very guided. You are an angel on earth. This process can be very challenging for the body and mind. But you are very connected to the divine. It's a beautiful job that you have. Beautiful job. Some people, they need to go to the office. But you You get to connect people with God. That is your job. Beautiful job. Oh, Great Spirit, we honor you. And so, yeah, that was that message. And I remember it being so profound because, you know, we have different energies that come through these sessions all the time. And when I started this work, I guess I had some programming still I needed to deal with, certainly some religious programming. Yeshua has indeed come through before in these sessions for me. And I remember in those times I kind of dismissed it and just kind of didn't really pay attention to it because of my programming. I didn't really get involved in it. But I remember when that message came through, my heart just exploded. And I was in tears. You can, in fact, you can watch the video on my YouTube. I have it. I shared it. You can see my reaction. I'm just moved to tears, and it was the first time I realized that these energies are real, and the love that came through when that happened, I couldn't deny that level of pure divine love. It's really powerful. So I wanted to thank you all for listening today. Thank you for being here, sharing this time and these energies. And my intention for this was so that it could kind of help strengthen and bring that beautiful energy that's waving through Earth right now, bring us together in that time. And that's why I share these messages publicly, to give reassurance that we are on the right path, and that there is so much beauty held within all of this. So if you want to contact me and ask a question or see about having a session for yourself, you can find me at www.raphaelasoulsessions.com. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, I'm on Telegram. They're sort of the main places that I share a lot of my messages and information from the sessions. Obviously, the sessions are for personal healing. And I do share information about people's personal healing journeys as well. But today, I just wanted to bring through some of my favorite messages that had come through over the past year or so, to help people really bathe in that energy and that expansion that can come through this work when we connect with a higher self. So thank you so much for being here and listening to me. And I look forward to sharing more information and more stories from the sessions that I offer in my next show. All right. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much.